Samsung Messages has many unique features, but for the past couple of years, things have changed, which has led users to believe that Samsung Messages will eventually go away. Let's discuss that in this video. I have been making videos on Android apps for a while, and whenever I see Samsung Messages, I see comments like this. There are threads in which people are talking about Samsung Messages going away. Now we don't have anything official from Samsung, but those users are not wrong. Samsung has been pushing away Samsung Messages slowly. First they changed the default Messages app from Samsung Messages to Google Messages. Today in most devices in most countries, Google Messages comes as the default app. It even creates confusion for Samsung users. That happened in 2022, and from here, people started complaining. At the same time, Google and Samsung were working on RCS, which in simple terms is messaging over the internet. When this came, both apps used to support it. I even made a video on how to use RCS. But in the last few months, things have gone downhill. Google Messages works fine. It even supports iMessages these days. However, every time I go and activate RCS on Samsung Messages, it says the registration failed. And it has been like this for months. After getting frustrated, I did some digging and found this article. It says that after December 2023, Samsung Messages will no longer support advanced messaging. In other words, it won't support RCS. Now I assume that the article is from a SIM carrier, so they were only talking about their services. But I can't activate it on my phone now, which makes me believe that it was more widespread than just one SIM company. Now let's go to the last thing that has made me believe that Samsung Messages will stop at some point. So we have two Messages apps on Samsung devices. If you open Google Messages when Samsung Messages is the default, this is what you see. However, if you open Samsung Messages when Google Messages is the default, you will see this screen. Here Samsung is encouraging users to keep using Google Messages for better RCS and AI features. We can just open Google Messages and keep using it, or continue with Samsung Messages. So these types of hints and changes indicate that Samsung will eventually stop supporting its much-loved messaging app. Now I'm not against Google Messages. I personally use Google Messages these days, and of course there are reasons for that. Google Messages has, I think, the most powerful spam detection system. Every message goes into the spam folder. It supports account syncing and device pairing, which lets me send and receive messages on my PC. I don't do it very often, but it's nice to have the option. The app also has implemented AI now. Its AI hasn't helped me at all, but it's a step in a new direction. Also, the fact that I receive reactions from iMessages forces me to use this app. Almost all my friends have iPhones, and this makes it slightly easier to communicate with them. However, I'm also concerned about Samsung Messages going away because we won't get all its great features. The messages will be deleted straight away and won't go into the recycle bin. We won't have the categories, we won't have the rich interface experience, and also we won't be able to customize chats as much as we can on Samsung Messages. Also, Google Messages is messy. Look at its message field. It has 5 icons taking up most of the space. Even though I have an Ultra phone, this is what the typed message looks like. It feels like Google wants you to see and explore all the features there are, even though you won't use half of the options in most messages. I understand Google is trying to be more like Apple and have a universal messaging experience, but I think there can be other, better ways to make that happen. So what are your thoughts? What do you think of all this? Please share your feedback below and watch my other videos on Samsung Messages if this one was helpful. I'll catch you next time. Take care.